Well, hello, my loves, and welcome back to another episode of your favourite podcast with me, your host, Mrs. Ellie Swift. Welcome back, guys. I'm so honoured to have you here. I hope you're having an amazing day. This podcast is your safe space to delve into all things life learnings there may be, from spirituality, motherhood, friendship, grief, the list goes on. I am here to provide you with a friend through the very up and down journey that can be growing and, of course, glowing into the very best version of who you truly are. Welcome back, my loves. I hope you're having a really gorgeous day today. I am currently sat recording this in my pajamas because I'm not even gonna lie, I tried to record this episode yesterday, and yesterday, mum life. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I literally tried about 3 times to sit down and start. Every time I was needed, Romeo woke up from the nap that I was expecting him to have like a long stretch of sleep. I was having mega mum guilt about being able to hear Saint playing downstairs, and I was in mum mode yesterday. And you know what I realised? I was like, who cares if I sit here with a full face of makeup and a bra? When I had to remind myself, this is our safe space. Hello? Pyjamas or full glam, I'm still showing up. You know, I'm still here, I'm still me. I'm the real me, whether I've got a full face of makeup and high heels on, or I'm sat here inhaling a full packet of digestives with my cup of tea, you know? So yeah, today feels very chilled and relaxed, and I'm really excited to talk to you today because we're going to be doing something a little bit different for this episode, something I've been wanting to do for ages, which is a Q&A over on here. I found this really... Now, do you know what? I'm actually not even going to try and take credit for it. Connor found it for me. Connor came through. He found a really cool website where you can leave somebody like a voicemail kind of thing, like a voice note via a website, and then these voice notes can be downloaded. And fun fact, actually, when I was thinking about beginning Growing and Glowing, when I was like, you know, really putting it together and how I wanted it to be, I actually had like a little vision of getting you guys really involved in the podcast and like having your voices on it somehow. And I just feel like full circle moment, here we are. That was like months and months and months ago when I was living in my fear era. I was too scared to start Growing and Glowing, and now here we are, and like that's a little manifestation coming to light. So that's your daily reminder that you can achieve your dreams. So you guys have asked lots of lovely questions, and we are going to get into it today. I have a feeling today is going to be a long one, my love, so make sure that you are ready. You have your cup of tea, you're nice and comfy, you're ready to feel the feelings, you're ready to have a DMC with your gal. Let's go. But to start off, we are of course going to tap into our affirmation of the day. Now, I don't know if it's just because I've been in my mum era so much recently, but I am really feeling called today to just speak directly to your inner child. Speak directly to the version of you that is just needing a little bit of mothering right now. We all need a bit of mothering, whether we're 6 or 60. There is nobody in this world, speaking from my experience, that loves somebody more than a mother loves her child. Like, oh my god, let's not even go there. You know how obsessed I am with my kids. But I have been doing daily affirmations with Saint for as long as I can remember, really. I always just say to him, whether we're in the car or we're playing with his train track, even when he was like really little and I was just getting him dressed for the day or something, I would just always say to him, repeat after me: I am strong, I am lovable, I am brave, I am confident, all of these kind of things. And I just feel like today, should we just tap into the inner child that needs to hear those things? Because as powerful as any affirmation is, whatever you want to call into your life, sometimes there's nothing quite like just a little direct visit to the foundations of ourselves and focusing on what is really at the core of it all and going back to basics. So I've got a little list on my phone of ones I'm going to shower over you. So I would love for you to just put your hand over your heart today, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just take a moment for yourself. Deep breath in and release. Ready to have these words showered over you and into you. Ready to let that white light flow all over your body to feel really positive today. I am strong. I am lovable. I am enough. I am safe. I am free. I am magnetic. I am confident. I do my best every day. I am so proud of myself. I bring so much to the table. My reality is created by me. I radiate over everybody I meet. I have nothing to fear in my own feelings. I can handle anything thrown my way. I can handle my biggest feelings. I am somebody that good things happen to. I am acting, speaking, moving, thinking, feeling in my favour. And ultimately, babe, I am too blessed to be this stressed. Am I right? I hope that made you feel safe today. I hope that gave you the little kick of happiness, of love that you might have needed. I hope it felt like a warm hug wrapped around your shoulders today, because that is ultimately what I am energetically sending you right now. I love you. I'm grateful for you. I'm happy you're here, and I hope you know your power, my love. So let's get into the questions. Here we go, number 1. Ooh, who's it going to be?
Hi Elle, I wanted to know, what are you doing at the moment that's new or you've just found that's really good for your mental health? Love you.
Love you. How cool is that? Oh, what have I been doing that's new for my mental health? What a great question. You know, this isn't going to sound groundbreaking at all, but honestly, just consistency with it, I think. How easy is it to just fall off the track of the habits that make us feel really good? Example, last week I had my therapy session. I had my therapy session in the afternoon every single Tuesday. And I had so much to do on my to-do list last Tuesday. I was like, you know what? I got to lunchtime. I was like, you know what? I cannot handle my therapy session today. I feel fine on the surface. Don't have time. I'd rather do this, and this. I'd rather get this bit of work done. I'd rather fold the laundry. I'd rather have a tidy house, etc., etc. When I needed a bit of a reality check, to be honest, who wants to be fine on the surface when we could be thriving from the inside out? Am I right? Who wants to be fine on the surface when we could be thriving from the inside out if we just stick to the habits that bring us back to who we really are? And for me, that is therapy. I've still got so much work I need to do. I am a firm believer that everybody at some point in their life would have a great, great benefit from therapy. We shower every day. When was the last time you washed your brain? You've got 18, 20, 25, 40 years of knowledge, of beliefs, of experiences tucked up in there. When was the last time you washed it and you got rid of the stuff that is no longer needed, ready to make room for the new? Do you know what I mean? I really am a firm believer in therapy. Anyway, there have been a couple of times over the nearly 2 years now that I've been having therapy that I felt like that, and I've been like, oh no, do you know what, I'm okay. I regret it every single time I cancel a session. Honestly, I totally and utterly regret it, because there's nothing more important than mental health. There is nothing more important than coming back to your radiance, and I feel like there is nothing more important than coming back to your radiance. 1111 on the podcast recorder as I just said that, guys, we're aligned. This is meant to be. I saw a really, really good quote, actually, that kind of puts everything I want to say about this, about staying consistent with your habits for your mental health, on Instagram the other day by an Instagram account called Kayla Barnes. If you guys don't follow it, it's a really great account. She posts just motivational quotes every day, and I'm actually going to put it up right now because this is where I'm going with this conversation. When you try to take the easy route, life becomes harder. Example, working out is hard, yes, but not moving your body will end up being harder. Prioritizing nutrition is hard, but dealing with the consequences of eating junk food is harder. Meditating and directing your mind is hard, but letting your mind control you is harder, right? Oh, how much do we need that one to sink in? I feel like I actually need to say that one again. For those in the back that didn't quite hear it, they didn't take it on board, they said, oh no, I'm going to let that one go over the top because that hits me a bit too hard if I let it. Meditating and directing your mind is hard, but letting your mind control you is harder. I had said that with so much passion, I knocked the microphone, babe. Living a life where you are letting your mind control you, you're letting your old beliefs from 20 years ago, from your childhood, things that aren't serving you, control you, that is living a hard life, babe. Meditating might be 10 minutes of effort every day. Going to therapy might be an hour of effort every week. But I would much rather put in that effort than live a whole life raising my kids, going through my years, letting my mind control me. No, you can sign me out of that, thank you very much. Getting to the root cause of why you're feeling like shit is hard, but living the rest of your life feeling like shit forever is harder, right? Easy always has a cost. So I guess in a nutshell, my answer to that question, what am I doing that's new for my mental health? It's just staying consistent with the habits that have always brought me back to being my best self. I wrote a list on my phone when I had my 6 months offline of things that are like my new non-negotiables for always bringing myself back to myself. And this is what is on that list. And a really easy way to ask yourself that question of what are my non-negotiables when it comes to my mental health, a really easy question to ask yourself to get there is, how would the person I want to become spend their time? For example, mine is reading books, hobbies that fulfill me. For example, yoga, fitness, music, learning, cooking, having quality time with people with no phone, having my candles lit, having the incense burning, not engaging in gossip, not scrolling mindlessly through social media, not comparing myself, not spending time worrying about people pleasing or how other people think I'm living my life, not stooping to the level of bitterness, not stooping to the level of jealousy, and being somebody that people go to for advice and inspiration. How do I get there? Therapy. How do I get there? Prioritizing time for myself. How do I get there? Reading self-help books. How do I get there? Talking to the people that love me, airing my feelings. A problem shared is a problem halved. So, remaining consistent, I would say, because it's easy to fall off the bandwagon of doing all of those things that are really good for you. Let's jump to the next question.
Have you got any tips on how to love your postpartum body, as I am 5 weeks postpartum today?
Congratulations on your baby, my darling. I hope you're having just all the cuddles, enjoying the newborn bliss, getting as much rest in as you can, looking after yourself. Postpartum body, what a topic. I'm going to be really honest here and just admit, this time round with my postpartum body, I'm just like so not interested in the conversation around it. It's like, yeah, this is my body. What do you want from me? To be a supermodel, babe? I just gave birth not long ago. I'm going slow with myself. I've not even paid attention to this whole thing around expectations of postpartum bodies, even like hating my postpartum body. Like I'm just very, very neutral with it, because I think I've just got to a point in my life where I'm like, there are so many more interesting things about me than my body, about the way I look. I'm not interested, babe. I would so much rather know about somebody in a postpartum phase rather than looking at their body, rather than looking at what's changed, rather than looking at what might have, gone down south a bit, which I think things on my body certainly have. It's normal, babe. I'd so much rather know, like, how are you feeling about motherhood? How are you getting on? Is there any way I can help you? What's your favourite thing about your baby? What are you doing right now to look after yourself? What are your 10 minutes to yourself today that you're going to have? What's your favourite book to read? What's your favourite TV show to watch? What's your favourite memory from childhood? Oh my God, self-acceptance. I have the rest of my life to get my body into a physical state where I'm thriving with confidence with it. And that's not to say that I'm not thriving with confidence now. I don't particularly have any feeling towards my body. Like I said, I am very body neutral right now. I don't love my body, absolutely not. Is it the most confident I've ever felt in my life? No. But also, do I hate it? No. I grew my baby in this body. I'm feeding my baby with this body. Right now, my body is surrendering to motherhood. It's surrendering to a very natural, very instinctual moment, fleeting moment in life. That really, on the spectrum, if you look at your whole life from bird's eye view, as if you see it as like a straight line, this bit where I don't particularly love my body and I'm having to get used to a new one is like a tiny dot on that spectrum. Tiny, tiny, tiny. And I don't know if this is easier for me to say because I was actually the most confident I had felt in years and years and years about a year after Saint was born. So I know from experience that I can get to a place where I am confident with my body again. So maybe it's just because I have that past experience of being able to get that confidence back that I'm much more neutral to it this time. But my love, just go easy on yourself. You've just given birth. Whether you're 2 weeks postpartum, 2 months postpartum, 2 years postpartum, babe. You are still postpartum because you have given birth. Your body has gone through a ginormous change. My goodness, I wish we'd be a bit more kind to ourselves. I wish we'd see the worthiness that comes from ourselves that has nothing to do with our body. Tell me about your values. Tell me about the things that you love in life. Please, so many more interesting things than the way we look. I know it's easier said than done, but love yourself through it all. Just because your physical body does not look how you would like it to look right now, in an ideal world, it does not mean that you are any less worthy of the love that you should give to yourself every single moment of every single day.
Hi Ellie, my name's Lauren. I'm from Scotland. I love the podcast. Got a question for you in regards to balance. So I'm also a mum of 2 under 2, and I know it can be quite chaotic. So I would love to know what if you've got any hints or tips in regards to balance. So balancing looking after small children and also trying to keep on top of everything else, sort of housework, washing, ironing, even a social life as well. It would be good to know your thoughts, because for myself, I think that it's not the kids that are hard, it's having to look after the kids as well as do everything else. 2 under 2 wouldn't be so bad if I had a cleaner and a cook and everything like that. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts.
Babe,
Thank you.
I
Bye.
can totally relate. Thank you so much, Lauren. What a good question, because I have been finding myself feeling the exact same things. Do you know when it feels like I haven't got balance in my life at the moment, and it's when I've not been organised? And I know that being organised is the last thing we feel like we can be when we've got 2 under 2. But even being organised in the sense of understanding your emotions and where you're feeling. So I am somebody who is totally and utterly environmentally triggered. But it's really frustrating because I'm also a really messy person. Okay? I have this conversation with myself all the time, and the conversation was happening so much when Romeo was first born. I actually said to myself, okay, how can I help myself here? Because it's not okay for me just to be standing in the middle of the kitchen and bursting into tears because I feel so overwhelmed because the dishwasher hasn't been unloaded this morning. Yes, we have postpartum hormones flying around the spot right now, but I need to take better care of myself. I need to ask for help. How am I going to ask for help? What do I need? And I took one look at myself and I said, Ellie, hire the cleaner. Hire the cleaner, babe. Just for a one-off, if that's what you want. Just for a one-off. Treat yourself. What else are you treating yourself to right now? What, a cup of tea? What, a shower? That's what you're treating yourself to. I said no. I'm going to indulge. Like, why is there shame in asking for help when we're at a stage in life where we so desperately need it? Where's your village? Call in your village. Whether your village is not necessarily the whole village, whether you're in a position like me where you don't have a mum around to help you, as much as you wish she physically was, she's not. I'm so lucky in the sense where I have all of my sisters who also have children, so that is a great way in calling in help when it comes to entertaining my children and like letting them have an outlet that isn't me necessarily for entertainment. I'm so lucky in that sense, but in other senses I feel a total lack of availability for help. And so it's things like when I'm staring at a messy house, but I'm also thinking, I have work to do. I have 2 babies to take care of. I have dogs to walk. It's like, okay, what village can I create to help me with those things? So yes, for the moment, it is a cleaner. Do you know what I mean? Yes, for the moment, I would like every week for my house just to be reset back to normal, because I don't have the mental capacity right now, or the patience, or even the time to be folding away an hour's worth of laundry, to be spending half an hour hoovering our bedroom or the upstairs or mopping the floors. I just don't have the capacity right now, and so that's where I need help in doing those very, very basic things. And there is absolutely no shame in holding those needs and owning those needs. Seriously. No judgment. And if there are people who are making judgments about the ways that you're calling in help or things that you need right now, babe, that's their problem, not yours, honestly. That is triggering something in them that is not yours to deal with. You say, babe, I'm going to treat myself to the cleaner. You carry on. You carry on living your life. I'm going to be over here with my cleaner for the next 6 weeks, and I'm going to be having a great time every Monday, every Tuesday, whenever it is that you get the cleaner in. having my house reset to 0, thank you very much. Now I feel like I can actually crack on with the rest of my week and do the things that I need to do, aka keep 2 under 2 alive. Do you know what I mean? Or whether it's not even getting a cleaner, whether it's getting a dog walker for a while, whether it's saying to a couple of friends, like, look, girls, honestly, I have been eating like absolute rubbish recently. I know this is a really funny request that we don't hear very much, but I really, really, really need some help. Would you mind, if you have the time, dropping over some groceries or cooking me a chicken pie? Do you know what? When we were in hospital, when we gave birth to Romeo, I think I may have said this to someone or on a video or something, but my dad and my dad's wife was staying here with Saint, and my dad's wife is a real nester and a carer. She really loves to take care of people, and she's really, really good at it. And she cooked us like 3 or 4 different meals that she just popped in the freezer for us, and it was like a chicken pie, a chili con carne, a pasta dish. They were like the best gift anybody could have ever given us. They literally got us through the first week of having 2 babies. It was like the most incredible thing, and I promise to all of my children, when they have their future children, if that's what they choose to do, or even anybody in my life from now on that has a baby, I'll be taking care of you by making you meals and bringing them over. Do you know what I mean? It's just being able to ask for help, having no judgment about the fact that you're needing to ask for help, being kind on ourselves for the fact that we're just not in a stage of life right now where we can do it all. So surrender to where we're needing a little bit of help, and there is just absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I'm sending you all the love. I know, trust me, I know how chaotic it can feel. But I think a big key to it is just surrendering and just saying, you know what? I can't do it all. As much as I think I am Superwoman, even Superwoman needed a day off sometimes. Do you know what I mean? I'm letting any judgment go. And I'm calling in the village.
Hi Ellie, my name's Poppy. I'm currently pregnant with my second baby, and I wanted to ask you, now that you have Romeo, basically I'm really nervous for my second baby to arrive. They're not due until the end of January, so I've got a long time to sit and prepare, but I'm very, very nervous that having a second child is going to take me away from my firstborn. I'm really nervous that although everyone tells you you won't have a favourite, this, that and the other, do you actually have a favourite? I'm just really, really nervous for the dynamic to change, as of course I'm totally in love with my firstborn and just don't want our relationship to change for the negative. So yeah, what have you experienced so far? And can you honestly say that your heart just doubles in size, or is it actually difficult to have 2 babies and love them equally? I really, truly do hope your heart just doubles in size, but I just wanted to ask you your experience so far, basically.
My love, I'm sending you all the love right now, and I can absolutely promise you right now, we're going to nip those worries in the bud, babe. I cannot explain to you my style of parenting. People around me have said, like people in my personal life have said oh, I don't know, they kind of give the impression that I am an overfusser when it comes to my children, especially Saint when it was just Saint. I'm too much of this, I do too much for him, I fuss all the time. There is nobody more obsessed with not just the well-being of their firstborn or the happiness of their firstborn, but just simply adores their kids. If there's one person that does that a lot, it's me. And so I didn't really have that feeling much in the entire pregnancy. It was more just when I literally was about to give birth to Romeo, in my last week of pregnancy, I suddenly started to have all of these feelings of that's my time with Saint over. And listen, don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything that can take you away from feeling that emotion at least once when you're bringing your second child into the world. At least for me personally, I don't think looking back, even though I wish I could go in a time machine and sit next to myself in that hospital bed and be like, babe, you've got absolutely nothing to worry about, wipe those tears, my love. But in that moment when I was worrying, I was worrying. I was so never doubting that I was going to love Romeo as much as I knew I always would. It was nothing really to do with Romeo. It was more just my own feelings from my own inner child, projecting my feelings of abandonment and fear and feeling not wanted or loved onto Saint, to be completely honest. That's me being really open and really vulnerable, because this is something I've discussed heavily in therapy. I was so worried that Saint would feel pushed out, that he would feel not wanted, that he would feel like there's a barrier that had just gone up between him and I as soon as Romeo was born. And from my experience, my love, Saint's been nothing but just full of joy around Romeo, to be completely honest. And I know that that's not always the way. I know that there, of course, are moments where our toddlers or our firstborn can feel jealousy and anger, and that is completely natural and completely normal. When you think about it, their whole life has been rocked. You are their life, and there's been a massive addition into their environment, into their home. It's normal, but I think what's important here is that we don't play it up in our minds to be something before the baby's even arrived. Let's not worry about tomorrow when tomorrow isn't here. Let's not worry about something that hasn't even happened. Let's not let our intrusive thoughts guide our day. Going straight back to the answer to the first question with that Kayla Barnes quote, let's not let our minds control us. Let's not let these beliefs, these fears that we have ingrained in us from potentially feelings that we had from children ourselves, from our own experiences, let's not project that onto our life as a mother now. And that is where doing the work is really important. But I hate to sound like so cliche, and I hate to repeat what I feel like everybody tells you, but it's true. Your heart just doubles in size. And I know you can't believe that when you've only got one. I know you can't. I know you can't, because it feels like there is just nothing that can top this love that you have for your child at the moment. But oh my goodness, the second that the second one comes along, it's like you've grown another heart just for them. It's so wild, and it's so beautiful, and it's something to be welcomed and embraced. And also, I think something that really helped me get through those feelings of anxiety and panic and fear and like just worry about my connection with Saint was, it's low-key a bit of a heartbreaking thing to admit, but Saint is never going to remember these young years of his life. You know, I can't remember when I was 1, I can't remember when I was 2, I can't even really remember much from when I was 4 or 5, to be totally honest with you. I don't know if that's just my memory kind of thing, but I can't. So while in the moment I might be feeling like, oh, you know, Saint's out in the garden living his best life, running around with all of his cars and playing with his daddy and chasing after the dogs and blah, 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 and I'm breastfeeding in the living room, feeling like I can't be part of it. That's actually only my experience. It's not Saint's. And so therefore I have the power to change that experience in my mind. I have the power to make that moment where I'm sat in a feeling of, oh, I'm not connecting with Saint. I have the power to make that feeling I'm connecting so beautifully with my newborn baby that needs me so much right now. And really, you're only needed by a newborn baby for such a short period. I literally look at Saint, it breaks my heart how much he doesn't really need me anymore. Of course he needs me, I'm his mum, but you know what I mean. Compared to Romeo literally depends on my boob to survive. The number one way to calm Romeo down if he's upset or crying is skin to skin. There are a million and one ways that Saint can calm down, which includes Peppa Pig most of the time, to be totally honest with you, babe. Do you know what I mean? So in those phases where I feel like there's a disconnect between Saint and I, remembering that it's never in Saint's mind. It's not. 99% of the time it's something I am totally projecting onto him, and it's coming from me, and therefore I have the power to change my experience of it into a positive one with Romeo. And remembering that this time period in my life is so short. And also, I'm sure if I was speaking to the 25-year-old version of Saint right now, and I was saying, oh, I feel like I'm spending so much time with Romeo right now, he would be like, Mum, you're raising my BFF right there. You're raising my brother. You're giving him the strongest foundation to the start of life that you can. And I'm so thankful for you, and I appreciate that so much. And I know that sometimes you miss me. I know that sometimes you feel like I'm a little bit distant because I'm out in the garden playing with Dad, or I'm off doing something that you're not involved with because you're changing Romeo or feeding Romeo or putting Romeo to sleep. Thank you for doing that, because you're giving me my best friend in the world. But I promise you, your heart just explodes into a million and one pieces even more when you've got to. It really is like you grow another heart with another baby. Honestly, it's like every baby you have another heart that is their love for them.
Hi Ellie, my name is also Ellie. I hope you're well, and I hope you're enjoying life as a mummy of two. You're doing so well, and I'm super proud of you. My question for you is, as someone who suffers with anxiety myself, what do you do when you're feeling low, a bit panicky, a bit anxious, to calm yourself down and make your day more positive? Just wanted to say thank you for everything you do. I love your videos. They are my safe space. You're doing so well, girl. Keep going. Love you so much.
Ellie, can you DM me your number, babe, so we can be BFFs? I just feel like I need you in my life. Just know, my love, going back to our affirmations of the day, you can handle anything that life throws at you. You really, really can. You've made it through all of your worst days so far. And here you are, standing stronger than ever. You are safe to feel your feelings. You are safe to lean into your fear. It's empowering, owning when we're not feeling great. It's empowering to show up for ourselves by being available to learn the lesson that life is trying to show us again and again and again. Because we're supposed to feel the feelings. We're supposed to lean into them. I think really it's less about how we can distract and take ourselves away from this moment of anxiety, and more about how can we lean into it and what is it trying to teach us. I think that's where my mind goes when I'm having those kind of emotions, but I'm sending you the biggest hug. And know you can get through it, babe. Of course you can.
Hello, beautiful Ellie. Greetings from Australia. Hope you're settling well into motherhood as a mum of two. My question that I wanted to ask is actually, I guess, about grief guilt. Unfortunately, recently my father has fallen ill and is in a severely cognitive compromised state. I'm really struggling, I guess, with managing my normal life, working, trying to keep up to date with everything else and my goals and, things I was working towards, i.e. house and, career goals and that kind of thing. But also trying to balance that alongside, I guess, my responsibility and feeling like I need to be there for my family and my dad in this time. I know obviously your beautiful mum has passed, but just wondering how you did manage that for the several years that she was ill. If you could shed any light on that, because unfortunately I am really struggling with that, and having been through it so graciously and seeming so positive, I would really love to get your input.
Oh, Madison, you are so brave and so wonderful, and so beautiful, and I'm in total awe of you. I really am. I'm literally nearly sat here in tears because I just think you are so incredible, and even your level of self-awareness through this really, really tough period in your life is just amazing. I'm so proud of you. I really am, and I really wish I could just reach through and hug you right now. Please know I'm sending you all my love, all my energy. You're amazing. And I guess there's one thing I want to share with you, that when my mum was poorly, and for those of you who are unaware, my mum had a brain tumour. So she also had a cognitively compromised state for a while before she died, like a good couple of years. I have one piece of advice that my dad shared with me. And I actually really want to get my dad onto the podcast, because he, in these like moments of tough times in my life, he's very good with words like this. And this is an example. He said to me, look, all you need to focus on right now, all you need to do right now is to show up for yourself in the way that when all of this is said and done and all of this is over, your future self can look back at the you that you are right now, and you can say with your hand on your heart, I'm really, really proud of how I handled it all. And that is only really a subjective answer that you can answer for yourself. For me, that was okay. I think future me will be proud of me if I see my mum every single day, which I did. I think future me will be proud of me if I learn how to slow down, take myself away from work a little bit, surrender to the moments of afternoons of cups of tea and flapjacks with my mum on the sofa, watching Deal or No Deal. I think that's what future me would ask me to do and be proud of myself for doing, and surrendering to it, and knowing that everything else that I wanted to do at that moment in my life, it was all going to get done in perfect timing. It was all going to get done, and I didn't need to worry. And I just really tapped into 30-year-old me, 40-year-old me, knowing that my mum wasn't going to be around for that stage in my life anymore, and how can I show up for those versions of me in the future that wish I had that moment there and then, and what did I want to do about that moment, and how did I want to behave in that moment. And that's what I tapped into. And so, like I said, it's very subjective to you, and I can't answer it for you, but that is my one piece of advice. You need to be able to look back at this moment right now and say, I'm really proud of the way I was, and I'm really proud of how I showed up at that really tough time in my life. Sending you all the love in the world, Madison. And I promise you, by the way, you can get through it. I promise you can.
Do you think you will ever stop YouTube? Also, love your videos so much. You're amazing and so inspiring.
Oh, thank you, my love. That is so kind of you. Do I ever think I'll stop YouTube? Oh, what a question. Well, we've been going for, I feel like nearly 10 years now. So quite a while. And I don't know the answer to that question. I feel like my honest answer would be, I think my life is always changing and evolving. And I think I'm now at a stage in my life where, you know, I'm looking forward to the future, and I'm thinking, okay, am I going to be on YouTube when Saint is still in school? How do I feel about that if I was? What would my content really consist of then? Because I think I do want to get to a point with my children. Obviously, they're very young at the moment, but I'll definitely be getting to a point with my kids where I won't be showing them online really at all, I don't think. And I think I'll probably start to incorporate that when they go to school and they are really starting to build a life for themselves, and they can make their own choices about where they want their life to head. And I know that right now, obviously, my content is very family focused, and so I don't know, projecting into the future, what my content would be. I have an idea, because I think really this is what Growing and Glowing is leading me towards, is my content for when my life is at that stage. And I do think there will come a time where I take it much more about the kind of things that we talk about over here on Growing and Glowing, and less about my personal life. And I'm not going to lie, when I had all of my time offline, that was a really big lesson I learned. It was like, okay, where do I want my content to go in the future? From what do I want to learn from this? How much of myself am I really willing to give? And I had the fear about it. I can't lie. I had the fear of ever doing it ever again. And I think really this is just a really open and very, very vulnerable thing for me to say right now. But I am only just, honestly, after like a year and a half, getting to the point where I feel comfortable again. I don't know if this has ever like come across in my videos or things I've shared, but I'm really only just getting to the point where my confidence is kind of somewhere near back up to what it was with sharing my life and opening up in ways. I mean, if you watch me on YouTube, I feel like I'm only really just bringing Connor back into my videos, and my relationship and the banter that we have together back into my videos, because that was just like something when I went offline, I realized I don't want any noise around that. Like, my relationship is my relationship, my marriage is my marriage. He's my safe person. Like, under absolutely no circumstances is that ever going up for judgment or for words from hateful people ever again. And I'm only just now really building up the confidence to share that again. And the same with my children. And so I don't know. I think my answer to that is, I think at some point I do see myself stopping YouTube, but I don't ever see myself not sharing my life in some way. So whether that's a different platform or whether that's a different avenue of social media, I think that's where it will go. Right now, though, I definitely don't see myself stopping YouTube for a good few years yet. So don't feel like you're never going to have a cup of tea and biscuits with me ever again, because you definitely are. But who knows what the future holds.
Hi, Elle. I've been watching your videos for years now, I think 4 years. My name is Matla. I'm from the States. And I was wondering, how do you manage to kind of keep that positive energy around, believing in new beginnings and your ability to manifest what it is that you want, while also not getting to kind of like into the hustle culture of trying to be spiritual enough or trying to prove almost to the universe that you're worthy of what you want. Um and yeah, like I guess going off of that, I'm 25, and I just find that sometimes it seems like my spirituality journey, my healing journey, kind of fell into the same pattern as my kind of hustle culture journey, and me trying to prove to God or the universe, divine, however you interpret that, that I'm good enough for what I want. And I'm really getting to a point where I want to just really feel like I'm enough, and like I don't have to like let go of something that I worked really hard for and it might be of this worldly prestige, in order to like usher in something that I know I want deep in my heart, if that makes sense. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. But thank you. I really appreciate you sharing your growth journey with us.
Well, I would like you to know, Matla, that you are incredible, and the energy that you even just give off from a 1 minute voice note is astounding. Like, your energy is crazy wonderful already. So don't feel like you aren't accomplished in that, because you are. And I think something really important to remember on this topic is that we are all exactly where we need to be right now. Don't lose sight of that. Don't lose sight of your beauty of the moment that you are in right now, because it's where you need to be. You're learning all the lessons that you already signed up for at this stage in your life. Everything is coming to you in perfect timing, and don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Don't put pressure on yourself about it. And also remembering that we came here to have a very human experience. So don't be afraid to feel human. Don't be afraid to feel feelings of impatience, or I'm not spiritual enough, or it's not coming to me yet, or I'm not doing enough. Like, they are the lessons in this human experience that we came here to learn. And it takes a lifetime of learning to get to the other side of it. Do you know what I mean? I really hope that makes sense. I really am no teacher, and I really am like not accomplished in this kind of thing whatsoever. I still feel myself like I'm at the very, very beginnings of my spiritual journey. I mean, of course, I love meditation and I love tapping into my higher self, but there's always things to learn. And I think at the crux of it is really just being able to undo the painful and harmful beliefs about ourselves that are holding us back. And really, in some people's lifetime, that's all they came here to learn. That's all they came here to undo, was just to have a belief about themselves and then undo it and see and explore where that undoing takes them. So just release the pressure, babe. You're exactly where you need to be right now. And I'm really, really proud of you, because you're doing amazing.
Hi, Ellie. I had some very exciting news this weekend. One of my dearest, oldest friends told me that she was pregnant, and I was actually one of the first people to know, which is so exciting. And I just wondered if you had any advice or tips on how to support a friend or loved one through the really early stages of pregnancy, more specifically their first pregnancy. Anything you'd recommend, maybe to read, or just how to offer the best support possible, really, during this really exciting new time. Obviously, it's possibly quite daunting for her, so I want to be the best friend that I can, to be honest. So, yeah, any support, any advice would be fabulous. Thank you so much.
Petition for Daisy to have 3,100 more friends. Because you sound like the friend that we all need when we're pregnant, babe. That is the sweetest message I have ever heard about pregnancy, ever. And the level of love that you explore by just asking, how can I be the best friend to someone when they're pregnant? It's their first pregnancy. Oh my God. Where were you at my pregnancies, babe? I think my answer to this question would be just to be there for your friend. Like, I know that's a really obvious thing to say, but when you become pregnant or when you have a baby, a lot of women feel like so disconnected to the life they had before they were pregnant or before they had a baby that it's quite common that they feel like they haven't got the same friendships that they used to have, or they can't like connect with the people in their life the same way, or they feel maybe even left out of things because people just assume that they don't want to come to something or they don't want to do something, when that could not be further from the truth. I think just still making her feel just as much as part of your life as she was before, still including her in the things, still asking to do the same things. Don't just assume that she doesn't have enough energy. Don't just assume that she doesn't have the time anymore. And I think it's really honourable as well that you're really interested in developing your friendship through the different phases of life. I have known, not personally from my experience, but from other women's experience, when they've had children, they just feel so disconnected from the person they used to be because it's like friendships haven't been able to keep up. And I think that there's no judgment there or bitterness or anger. It's just that people were just unaware of how to show up for their pregnant friends or for the maidens in their life that were turning into mothers. Like, true friendship is really about being there for one another through all the different seasons of life. And for some women that means having children, for some women it doesn't, and that's totally fine. We pave our own lives, and I think the true friends are the ones that stay around through all of it. So just being really open to her emotions, being really open to what she needs, just showing up as the same old you that's always been there, but just again being there for her through this phase of her life too, and just making her know how loved she is and how excited you are to be a part of this part of her life with her. But you sound like a really, really great friend, and I hope your friend knows how lucky she is to have a friend like you, because not everybody has that, and I think you're really special. Okay, my loves, that's going to go ahead and finish off today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. It was really nice to just sit down and catch up with you all. I'm definitely going to do another Q&A like this sometime soon, because there were so many questions that I really, really wanted to answer, but I'm just so aware of how long these episodes get. Let's finish off with our growing and glowing moments of the week, of course. Now, as usual, guys, when I say my growing and glowing moments of the week, I really want you to just sit there and think about your own growing and glowing moments of the week. My growing moment this week, a growing moment aka something that you're really proud of, something that you learned, somewhere you grew this week. My growing moment was, I have two actually. First of all, picking up my first self-development kind of mindset spiritual book since I gave birth to Romeo. I have missed desperately my reading, and like I said at the start of this episode, that's like a real habit for me that brings me back to who I truly am, brings me to my higher self. So I've picked up the 4 Agreements, and I'm absolutely loving it so far. Very interesting way of looking at life and how we can be the best version of ourselves. So I'd recommend that. But also coming to a point this week where I've really been forgiving myself for forgetting who I am deep down, forgetting my connection to my inner power. Listen, don't get me wrong, it happens. We all forget who we are deep down. Life throws us lemons. We make lemonade. We forget who we are. We get drunk on the lemonade. We forget who we are. But forgiveness for self for forgetting my true power, I think. And my glowing moment this week, something I am really happy about, something that I just felt so much joy doing. I'm gonna say preparing for Saint's second birthday, actually, because this made me feel a whole bunch of emotions that I ended up glowing through, really. And those emotions were so many deep feelings that I needed to feel, and I needed to honour and embrace feelings of, oh my god, life is going too quick, feelings of, those same inner child ones of abandonment and fear and sadness that life is happening so quickly, but then coming out on the other side of it and really leaning into the emotion and the pain that my 2-year-old's birthday brought me. But I needed to feel them. And you know what, as mums, sometimes we need to go through those days. We need to go through those hard moments of, oh my god, they're growing up so quickly. We can release, we can let it go, and we can show up as the mum that is just so full of gratitude and full of love for their ever-evolving child. And as I was preparing, I was writing him his letter that I write my kids every one of their birthdays, and sorting pictures into a scrapbook, and just really, really being really bloody proud of myself of having a 2-year-old. Like, I'm not gonna lie, him and Romeo collectively, but I'm seeing it obviously through Saint, because Saint is the older one who I can really see the person he's becoming. Romeo's still so tiny. I'm just really proud of the mother that I've been. I'm really proud of the way that Saint is, the way that he is growing and blossoming and evolving. I'm beyond proud of everything I've poured into that little boy and what he's becoming. He just is, him and Romeo, the light of my lives. And I'm just glowing because I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of them. I'm really proud of myself. So I hope you go on to have a really, really wonderful rest of your week, my loves. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening today. It means the world to me, as always. I would love if you enjoyed this episode and made it all the way to the end, because I know this is a very long one today. I'd love if you left us a review on however you listen to us, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or of course YouTube. Thank you so much for listening, my loves. I love you. I'm sending you the biggest hug. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week.